Good morning, everyone. I'm delighted to welcome you to this Embrace Aging session. But before we begin, I want to acknowledge that UBC Okanagan is situated on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Syilx Okanagan Nation and their people. I also want to acknowledge that some of you might be joining us from many places, both near and far, and I want to take a moment to acknowledge the traditional owners of those lands as well. So my name is Joan Batorf, and I am a professor in the School of Nursing and director of the Institute for Healthy Living and Chronic Disease Prevention here at UBC Okanagan. And I'm delighted to welcome you all this morning. This is our 9th annual Okanagan Embrace Aging Month, and one of the events we are pleased to host this morning. We are joined in this endeavor to put on Embrace Aging by Interior Savings and Credit Union and Interior Health. So as partners, we launched Embrace Aging about 9 years ago to celebrate and raise awareness about positive aging. And so once again, this year, we've been able to organize a number of educational opportunities and events during the month of March. The sessions are really designed for everyone, young and old alike, with a focus on a variety of topics related to healthy aging and ways to improve quality of life among seniors, family caregivers, and really all of us. Our goal is to inspire everyone to engage in positive aging. So I'm so glad you've been able to join us today, and hope you might be able to join some of our other sessions coming up in March. If you have a closed captioning button showing, you can move that around your screen to where you prefer, or you can turn off the closed captioning by selecting the live transcript button on the menu bar where you can turn it off. There is an opportunity to add comments in the chat and any questions that you have during the presentation. So I encourage you to do that. At the end of the presentation, there'll be an opportunity for some discussion and questions. And so I look forward to that as well. So today's event is brought to you by the Institute for Healthy Living and Chronic Disease Prevention at UBC Okanagan. And we're especially delighted to welcome Cailan Libby, who is CEO of Happipad and also a UBCO alumni. And he's going to tell us about Happipad companion housing. So I'm going to turn it over to Cailan. Welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Joan. And hello, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to this session on companion housing. Companion housing is really a new take on an old philosophy to help Canadians age in place. So during today's session, we'll be talking a bit about what companion housing is, giving you some examples. And then the next part, we're going to be going into some examples of how you can try companion housing yourself and how Happipad can support you doing that. And at the closing of the presentation, we'll have an opportunity for questions and answers. During today's session, I encourage everyone to use the chat box to respond to some questions that I asked during the presentation. If you're comfortable just typing in your responses, you can just click the chat box and you can type your answers in. We like to make this an interactive session just for everyone to share their opinions. So maybe just to get started, be curious to see where everyone's tuning in from. So if you're from Kelowna or West Kelowna or somewhere else in the chat box, maybe you can just mention where you're tuning in from. So let's get started. Uh-oh, some technical issues off the start. Okay, hello everyone. Sorry for the technical glitch there, but we should be good to go now. So my name is Cailan. I'm the CEO and founder of Happipad. Happipad is a Kelowna-based social enterprise. I started Happipad back in 2017 when I was just finishing my studies at UBC Okanagan. And Happipad was developed to create more sustainable housing solutions and to help our older adults age in place. So at Happipad, we honor human connection and sustainable living practices, which is the core mission statement that we have today in our practices. If you're curious to learn more about us, our website is happipad.com, happipad.com. So to get started, let's talk a little bit about what aging in place is. If you've been attending some of the other sessions, you might have heard a little bit about what aging in place is. One definition I like to use is a person that likes to live in the residence of their choice for as long as they can. So simply put, this just means that if you have a house or an apartment, you want to stay living there as long as possible, instead of moving into some institutional senior housing or some other independent living or senior care facility. Looking at statistics across Canada, we see that most seniors want to age in place. A recent survey done in July 2020 shows that 91% of seniors plan to age in place in their homes for as long as they can. Whereas we see only about 3% of seniors claim they want to move into a senior housing residence. So I'd be curious to hear what everyone thinks about this. If you would like to live in your home as long as you can, maybe just add that in the chat box if you'd like to stay living in your home, or if you have other plans, maybe you want to move into a senior housing residence, an independent living, or maybe you want to move in with family. Just enter that in the chat box there. I'd be curious to hear everyone's opinions. Now, what's interesting is research done in April 2021 shows that only 26% of seniors predict they'll be able to age in place, meaning that they might not have the means to support themselves living in their home. This could be due to finances, it could be due to health, it could be due to the upkeep and maintenance required for a home. So aging in place sounds like a wonderful idea. You can have a lot of independence and freedom, but it might not be as easy as you think as you age. So let's talk about what a companion is. This is explaining what companion housing is. So a companion is defined as a person that you spend a lot of time with. And a second key definition is that a person that complements you. So a companion can be all sorts of things. It can be a romantic relationship. It can be non-romantic. A companion can even be a pet that you spend a lot of time with, a pet that complements you. So the idea of companion housing is finding a companion, someone that you can enjoy spending time with, someone that complements you, and you can share a home together in a mutually beneficial manner. So welcome to companion housing. Companion housing is just that, finding one or more companions that are like-minded where you can get along and you can share a home together. There's many advantages of companion housing. Really, it helps older adults age in place. It allows you to save money as you're sharing costs of your home, such as utilities, property insurance, also the cost for a home. You can make friends, build friendships, have activity partners to go play tennis or go lawn bowling or cross-country skiing, and allows you to live more sustainably. Research done at Colorado State University shows that every person you add to your household actually reduces your greenhouse gas emissions by about 6% on average. So it's a very environmentally friendly and cost-saving, great cost-saving measure. Now, companion housing can be people of similar ages or people of different ages. At our program at Happipad, we've seen the whole spectrum. We have had 94-year-olds living with 20-year-olds. We've had 60-year-olds living with 80-year-olds, and just about every combination in between. So someone to be a companion does not mean they have to be the same age. It doesn't mean they have to be the same culture. It can be whatever you define to be a companion, someone who you enjoy spending time with. Companion housing is not a replacement for home care. Companion is meant to be a social connection, someone that you share meals with, someone that you play games with. It's not meant to support the activities of daily living, such as bathing or dressing. Now, there are opportunities to have your housing companion help you with maintenance and chores around the house. However, there's a fine line where it does not support the activities of daily living. So just something important to keep in mind. With companion housing, each person is independent, so you have your own lives. You might have your own social circles living in a companion home. You might have different friends. You might have your own activities that you like to do. Maybe your housing companion likes to play tennis, but you hate tennis. You like to do other sports. That's okay. Each person can have their own agenda, live their own independent life. It's really about providing you the most freedom as possible. Now, an important part of companion housing is about spending time together, doing activities. So examples of this are sharing meals. This is oftentimes dinners are shared. You can carpool together. We see often that one of the household members might not drive anymore. So if you find a housing companion that drives or has a car, it can be a great match where you can carpool together. You can help save some money on gas, especially with these crazy gas prices we have. You can shop together. And this really operates kind of like a family unit where you're supporting one another and you're sharing resources for everyone's benefit. And companion housing can be for many lengths of time. Sometimes it's short term and sometimes it's long term. Now, my mother, she actually lives in a companion home. When my father passed away, she was unsure if she could sustain living in her home alone. So I helped her out and matched her with a few companions. And over the last 4 years, she's had 12 different companions living in her home of all different ages. Some of them stayed for a few months. Some of them stayed for a few years. Really what you want in a companion is up to you. You can decide if you want people coming for a little bit or for a long time. Now, at Happipad, we like to define companion housing into two key roles. We have a host role and what we call a guest role. So a host is someone who has a home. This could be a home that they own, maybe it was their family home, or it could be a home that they're renting and they have a long-term lease. So this is the home provider or the host. They set the tone of the household. And the guests are what you would call your companions, people that you bring into your household. So together we call these housing companions, these two sides that we bring together. Now, companion housing is really an old solution for a modern problem. And there's an African proverb I really like to reference that I think speaks well to this. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And I believe that this really encompasses what companion housing is. It's really about bringing people together to support one another, to live long and happy lives. Now, some key benefits we see in companion housing is one, reduced cost of living. Prices of rents are very high. Cost of independent senior living is outrageous. I had a phone call yesterday from a lady that was really struggling with the price she was paying to live in her independent living. Spending $3,000–4,000 a month to live in this facility, and she wasn't really all that happy with it. So she's now going to be moving into a companion home through Happipad. She can save a few $1,000s a month now while having a lot more independence and freedom in her life. So if cost savings is something important to you, either if you're a homeowner or if you plan to rent, companion housing can be a great solution to that. Retaining independence and freedom is a core value of companion housing. So in a companion home, you get to set your own agenda, you get to set your own household structure. If you want to travel part of the year and you want to live in your home part of the year, that's completely fine as well. You really get to set your own agenda, and you have as much freedom as you choose. Companion housing also allows you to live wherever you want. Companion homes can be anywhere in the city. If you want to live in the downtown or in the suburbs, or maybe you want to live in different cities. You could live in perhaps Toronto for 6 months and Kelowna for 6 months, or you can even live internationally if you want. Companion housing really, it brings a whole new realm to this idea of aging in place, where you can live in not just one facility, but you can live in many different areas. So this would fall under what we call the shorter term companion housing arrangements, where you stay in each home for a shorter period of time instead of being a permanent arrangement. Cooking what you like. If you have special dietary requirements, or maybe you just love cooking, like my mom, she's always in the kitchen every day. She's baking, she's experimenting with new foods. Companion housing is a great way to share food with others and to experiment, to just really have a lot of fun. Key point 5, building meaningful connections. Now, I feel this is very important. These meaningful connections, again, this can be people of all different ages. And this really helps you feel a sense of purpose. When you're sharing your home with other companions, you're really helping one another out. You're helping them, especially if your students, for example, you're sharing your home with. You can really give them some life advice and really some mentorship, and really build a meaningful connection that can have a long-lasting impact on each other. And key point 6, having some help around the house. Now, what you see as help might depend on what your circumstances are. What I've seen is many older adults, they don't necessarily need help around the house. They're fully capable and independent, but they just like having someone around just in case they fall, just so that they can make that call for an ambulance if needed, or just to help with maybe changing light bulbs, some of those little things. Or maybe you need some more help. Like my mother, for example, she has a hard time collecting firewood now and doing some of these more physical tasks. So, she enjoys having some actually a younger man around the house now to help with those harder activities, which really makes it easier to her to maintain her larger household. Now, time for some stories. I've got 3 pictures here, all from Kelowna, actually, of some of the companion housing arrangements we made over the past. So let's start in the middle, the young fellow in the blue shirt. This is Jonathan, who's an engineering student at UBC Okanagan. And it was his first time moving away from home, and he was unsure about what to do. So Paulette was actually one of the youngest hosts we've had in our program. And these two had a very magical connection. Jonathan really became like family. So Paulette, being a single mother, she had a preteen son, and Jonathan really became a role model for her son. He really inspired him to study mathematics and sciences, and actually encouraged him to pursue engineering. In his later years. So this is an example of people more similar in generations. We have a multi-generational household here. We have the children, we have the university student, and we have the mother. In the top right here, we see another one of our hosts, Alpha from Kelowna. Alpha, when she started, she was in her mid-80s, and she had actually a young couple living with her, visiting from Whistler, but originally from Western Europe. This was a great connection. They lived together for about 1 year. You see them doing a puzzle here. This is often an activity they would do together to pass some time and have some conversation. They each live their own independent lives. Alpha, she's a very independent, very strong woman. But the times that they spend together, really made a difference. And having someone around just to help with those little tasks, or someone to help Alpha when she just needs a little bit of extra, made a big difference. In the bottom right here, this is Frank. He's one of our oldest hosts. He was 94 when he started hosting with us. And it's actually myself in the picture here. This is when I visited them one morning for a brunch. Every Sunday, Frank and the 2 students living with him would have a pancake brunch together. Frank, when he started with our program, he had recently lost his wife and was living in his home alone, and just was really unsure of what the next chapter looked like. He had a 3-bedroom home, he had lots of space, and he wasn't really ready to move on from there, but he wanted just maybe some extra people around the house, some more energy, and maybe a little bit of help with some things. So the 2 students he lived with, they all had an amazing experience. They wrote some wonderful reviews of how wonderful their experience was. And I was fortunate to meet with them a few times, just kind of experience the energy and dynamic in their household. And Frank made some wonderful pancakes. So every Sunday at 10 a.m. they had a great brunch, and it was a fabulous experience. So these are just some examples of what companion housing can be. We've had many other arrangements made of people more similar in age. We've had seniors living with other seniors, people of very similar age. A lot of single mothers actually are joining the program now, as they see a lot of value to help save money, but also have this support around the household. So what you want as a companion is really up to you, and how you structure your household is really up to you as well. So companion housing is really just a framework or a concept where you can find someone that you can enjoy spending time with and structure your household around that. So now let's get into the second part of the presentation, where let's talk about how companion housing actually works. So if this is something that you're inspired by, you might want to try, this section is for you. So first part is getting ready for companion housing. Now, the first part of companion housing is getting yourself ready. Now, what I mean by that is companion housing likely involves some change for you. Now, anytime there's change in our lives, we might have some hesitation or some barriers that prevent us from embracing this change. So these fears and barriers might be ideas we have about sharing our home with others. Maybe, oh, there's no way I could have a stranger in my home, or maybe I need to change some things to share. Or maybe you want to move cities. Maybe you want to maybe you're planning on selling your home and moving somewhere else. Whatever these changes might be, the first thing is an internal look at yourself and say, is this something that I'm ready to do? Not all people are ready for change, and that's okay. Your time may come if it's something you're inspired for. So the first question I like to tell everyone is just, ask yourself, am I ready to do this? Am I ready for change? Is the lifestyle living today sustainable? And if not, is there other things I can change to help me get down a more sustainable track? So if there's if you thought about companion housing, maybe in the chat box now, you can just put a little comment there, just saying, am I ready for change, or am I not quite ready? I'm just maybe exploring ideas now. So if you're comfortable just putting something in the chat box, feel free to do that now. Now, the second key point is, what are things that I want, and what are things I don't want? This is maybe the most important to ask yourself when you've made the decision to try companion housing. One activity we encourage doing is making a list of things I want and things I can't live with. So things that I want might be, maybe I want to have a pet in my house, or maybe I want to have someone that has a car because maybe I don't drive anymore. So start to think of some things that you want, maybe as you age and want to age in place. What are things that you want that would help you live a happy and sustainable life? As well, what are things you don't want? Well, maybe you're a night owl, and you don't like it when people make lots of noise in the morning. Or maybe the opposite. Maybe you're an early riser and you don't like people being up too late in your household. So these might be things you don't want. Or maybe you have certain allergies. If you have allergies to pets or other things, this might be something that you don't want in your household, is sharing your home with maybe a cat or a dog. What you want and what you don't want are really up to you. And it's important that you understand these concepts so that you can communicate this with others who may become companions. And the third key point is, am I really ready to embrace change? Change can be uncomfortable. You might be stepping into the unknown. So there's some people who are very comfortable adopting change and maybe taking some risk and just kind of diving in. We kind of call those the early adopters. And there's those who might have a harder time with this. People that are maybe late adopters, they need some encouragement. So it's important to understand just kind of how comfortable am I with this concept. And it's okay if you don't feel comfortable quite yet. This is something that we encourage everyone to make sure they feel comfortable with before they really dive in. And the second part of getting ready is your physical space, your home. Now, with companion housing, you don't need to own a home. That's okay. You can find homes with others to share. And if you have your home already, this would be what we call a host. There's some steps that you can take to get ready for this. So the first activity is cleaning and purging. And now this goes for both sides. If you're planning to move into another home as a guest in the companion housing program, most homes come fully furnished. So we encourage you to, maybe if you have some possessions, have them in storage, or just maybe try to pack really light so that it's much easier to move around and move into a new space. And if you are a homeowner, if you have your own space already, getting your home ready for companion housing, it can be a little bit of an overwhelming job. You might have, some of your children's items still in your home. You might have a bunch of storage. Maybe your spare bedrooms are still full of things. So the first thing is just getting your home ready, really cleaning out your bedrooms and getting your home ready for others to come in. One piece of advice we have is when you're sharing your home with others, especially in the bedrooms they'll be occupying, is to leave them very basic. So we recommend, taking out photos and taking out some of your personal decorations. The reason being is when a companion comes into your home, they want to feel a sense of belonging. They'd like to decorate their homes to be their own flavor, their own style. So giving them some freedom to do a little bit of decorations, maybe hang some of their own art in the room, really helps it feel like their own space. So cleaning your home and purging, getting rid of those things you don't need is a great first start you can take to get ready for companion housing. A second point is being flexible with others' needs. Now, you probably have your own ways of doing things, and that's great. You've probably spent a lot of time figuring out the best way. But when you start sharing your home with companions, they might have different ways of doing things. So this is a mindset of being flexible with others' needs, understanding that they may have different ideas or different perspectives, and just being welcome to the idea of considering others' opinions and finding a way to adjust to those. So by being flexible in your household, this can mean leaving some extra space for them to bring some of their own items in, and just allowing for more freedom in adjusting the home layout and structure. Key point 3 is adaptations and separations. Now, if you are planning to age in place in your home, you might want to consider what it might look like over the next 10 or 20 years. If you start to have mobility issues, maybe those stairs will start to get harder, or maybe there's other things in your household that might get more difficult. So now's a good time, if you plan to age in place in your home, to start thinking of what that home might look like over the next 10 or 20 years. And by separations, this is one way you can help with that. What we often see happen is older homeowners, if they have an upstairs and a downstairs to their home, they'll often leave the upstairs as their space for their housing companions, particularly if they're younger than them and they're very mobile, they have no restrictions. They can occupy the upstairs bedrooms in the home, and then yourself, as you age, you can maintain yourself on the main floor of the room of the home. This way you don't have to worry about the stairs or cleaning those stairs. Your housing companions can look after that for you. And the last key thing is home insurance. When you are sharing your home with others, your home insurance in most cases will cover you. However, you will need to notify your insurance provider that you are having some boarders or some companions living with you in the home. Now, there's typically no extra cost for this. However, we recommend that you just call your insurance provider just to review this with them, just to make sure that you have the right coverage in place. Okay, second key part, finding companions. So when you're looking for a companion, you really want to understand what you want in a companion. And sometimes as you go through this process, you might decide that, maybe you meet someone that you thought wasn't going to be the right match, but maybe they are ideal. So first thing is just list what are some qualities that I want in a companion. Now, just things off the top of your head, this might be someone that plays similar sports, someone that plays crib, like I said, someone who drives a car. So just start to think of some ideas, some qualities of what you might like and how this might support you as you age. Asking yourself, is gender or age important? I've often seen people have an idea when they start companion housing of, I want to live only with a female or only with a male, and they want to be this age. But then as they start to meet other people, they realize that, hey, like maybe I'd be comfortable living with this person as well. So just it's good to ask yourself now if you're comfortable living with any gender, and the same with different ages. If you would like someone younger in the house, maybe you like that youthful energy, or maybe someone older that maybe moves more at your pace and has similar interests and hobbies. So good things to consider. The more specific you are, the easier it can be to find a companion who you can really share a connection with. Third point is, do you want pets in the home? We find that if there's guests with pets, sometimes it's hard for them to find homes. So if you want a pet in your home, this can be a great opportunity to invite someone in that already has a pet. This is a great way for you to have that extra companionship from a pet in the house without having all the extra responsibilities that go with it. So if you're considering having a pet, bringing a companion in that already has a pet can be a great option for you. Fourth point is, do I want short-term or long-term? Companion housing arrangements can be as short as a few months, or it can be permanent. It can be for many years. We recommend people start with a shorter arrangement for the first time they do this, just to see if it's a good fit and if they really enjoy this lifestyle. So it's really not a long-term commitment. You can really do this as a trial term, just for a few months to see if it works for you. And if that arrangement's good, you can always extend it and make this a long-term living arrangement. Like my mom's first companion, he moved in for a summer initially, and that summer ended up being nearly 4 years. So just because you start short-term doesn't mean it can't go on for a long time. Do you want help around the home? Now, help around the home might be something simple, just helping with changing some light bulbs, or maybe just cleaning the floors, or it might be something more than that. If you want some more help around the house, what we often see hosts do is they provide a reduction in rent in exchange for this extra help. So if you would like your housing companion to maybe go grocery shopping for you, or to do some extra chores, usually there's some consideration done for this. One arrangement we've seen is we've seen 2 housing companions where the one would do all the cooking and the other would buy all the groceries in exchange for that. So for their labor of cooking the dinners every day, the other companion was more than happy to buy the food for those dinners. So that was a good way for them to mutually exchange some labor for some finances of them buying the food. And the last thing is, do you have any special needs that might be important? So this could be something like an allergy or a mobility issue. Just having these needs and requirements clear is an important first part of finding companions. Now let's talk about the process of how this works and how Happipad supports this. If you're tuning in from the Central Okanagan region, you're fortunate, as Seniors Outreach and Resource Center is one of our partners where they can help you through this entire process. They're an official Happipad partner, and they're trained on our program, and they're happy to support you. So the first part of companion housing is making that decision that you want to register. Now, registering doesn't mean you have to commit yet. It just means that you're interested and you're willing to take the first steps into engaging in this program. You can do this through our website, happipad.com, or by visiting the Seniors Outreach and Resource Center. Now, the second part of this is if you have a home, you want to list your home in the program. This goes through an online form that you fill out, either through our website, or Seniors Outreach can assist you. Or if you're looking for a place to live, once you're registered, you can start this process. The next part is looking for companions. This is where you can apply for homes, or if you're looking to be a host, you can start to view profiles of others. We'll go into this in a moment here in the next slides. The next part is interviewing. This is you can think of it kind of like going for a first date. You get to interview these people, you get to ask some questions about their lifestyle, their interests, to really get a feel for them if they're the right fit. The next part is screening, just to make sure that these people are who they claim to be, and that there's no red flags moving forward. And the last part of this is the agreement. So this is what we call a living arrangement agreement, where you can set all the terms and conditions of your living arrangement. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so the next part is with Happipad program is creating a profile. So this is just a kind of behind the scenes looks of what it looks like to use the Happipad program. Now, we use a website to manage this program, as it's a much easier way for us to manage all the profiles of people. So on the left here, you can see an example of creating a Happipad profile. So we've developed a series of questions that help you find people that share similar interests, hobbies, and views. So some examples here are asking about political views, vaccination status of people. So if you're sharing a home with others, there's a series of about 60 questions that are gone through to help you compare each other. And on the right side here, you can get a preview of potential matches. So we've developed this new feature we call the guest finder, where you can actually view people looking for housing companions right now. You can search by location, you can search by people with different needs, people that have pets or don't have pets, to look at it. Across Canada, we have about 11,000 active users on our platform, so there's lots of people out there looking for housing companions today. So the next part is the interview process. Within the Happipad program, if you're doing this yourself through a website or through the support of our own staff or through Seniors Outreach, this is a preview of what you might see. So on the left here, you see an example of a profile of, it's actually my sample profile, a description, some details of what people are looking for, and a lot more information about them. So the guest finder tool is one unique tool. We do this where you can start to view profiles of other people and get an idea just to see if they might be a good fit. And if they are, then you can engage with them and contact them and set up an interview. We also do a background screening. So on the right here, you see a sample report here. So our background screening process checks over 240,000 international databases to check all sorts of records like court records, criminal record history, fraud watch lists, sex offender lists, negative news, and many other profiles we search. It's all compiled in a report, so you can get results of this through here. As well, when you're in the Happipad program, your personal information is kept secure. We don't share your information publicly on the internet, so you don't have to worry about some scammers calling you or some weird phone calls. We take this very seriously. So when you find someone, you can contact them right through Happipad, so you don't have to worry about sharing your personal information. And the last part is an interview and onboarding guide. So this is a website address here, happipad.com/host-resources. And if you sign up to our program, we will send you a direct link to this resource as well. We have a lot of great free resources available here, such as our interview guide, which gives you a great series of questions you can ask, our onboarding guide, which really is a step-by-step process of how to start sharing your home with others and really walking you through all the steps. Now, today's presentation is just meant to be a high-level overview of this. If you want more information, this is a great start. Now, the last part of the process, you've registered, you've found some people who might be companions, you've interviewed them, you've done the background screening. The living arrangement agreement is the last key part of this. Now, this is really to protect your rights and to establish the rules and expectations of your household. Now, this is very important, as when you're in a shared housing arrangement, if you're sharing a kitchen or bathroom space like most companion homes do, you might not be covered by the Residential Tenancy Act. So the residential tenancy laws may not apply to this. Now, this might sound a little scary, but this is one of the key reasons why we've created this program at Happipad, to provide this extra level of safety and support to help you where the tenancy protections don't cover you. So with every living arrangement, we have a lawyer drafted agreement that specifies all the terms and the conditions for the shared housing arrangement. This is really to protect both parties, so that you have a written, a signed legal document outlining that you're sharing this home together and outlining some of the conditions of that. And this is something that we provide as default in our service. So if you're thinking of finding a housing companion, you're not using Happipad, which you don't have to, it's okay. But we highly recommend that you have a legal agreement with your housing companions of how you'll be sharing that household, just because residential tenancy protections may not apply to your arrangement. So that's a very important point to keep in mind. Okay, last part is actually sharing your home. So you found someone, you've come to an agreement, now it's time to share your home. What we really want to do is help you maintain a harmonious household where you can get along. When you're sharing your home with others, like all sorts of relationships, there's their ups and there's the downs. You might have some disagreements. So having a little bit of preventative maintenance to maintain your household can really go a long ways. So some steps to do this when you're sharing your home. Setting clear rules and expectations is very important. And this is ultimately rooted in communication, clearly communicating what you want and what you don't want in your house. This might be ways of cleaning, might be ways that you store things, maybe what day garbage day is. These are examples of things that you want to communicate. So to get started, we have what we call a move-in checklist. Now, if you're part of the Happipad program, we'll provide this for you. This is a step-by-step pamphlet we give you when your housing companion moves in to step through the household and really do an onboarding to show them how you like to store things, where you keep cleaning supplies, where you keep your laundry. Maybe if your laundry machine has some quirks to it, the button needs to be in a certain position. These are all things you go through in your move-in checklist. It's really an onboarding of your home culture, your home etiquette, and the ways you like to do things. The trial period is what we consider the first month of a new companion housing arrangement. When you move in, you might uncover some things that you didn't realize. Maybe you realize, oh, this house is actually a lot noisier than I thought, or maybe my housing companion isn't quite the person I thought they were. So the first month of your living arrangement is what we call the trial period. We can really experience this and see if this is a good fit. If it's not a good fit, that's okay. Happipad will help you find a different home. We'll help you find a different companion and work through this. And we're also able to support you to work through these differences to make this a success. We also do monthly check-ins. Sometimes in time these things change, and we do these monthly check-ins just to make sure things are still going well and provide a little support to help work through these little conflicts that might arise in time. And we provide lots of extra support. So we always have a friendly team on hand to help with any of these problems that might arise. Now some tips I want to share for sharing your home. Establishing a fair etiquette and culture in the home. So this is really allowing everyone, all your housing companions, to have input of what you feel is fair for the household. You might have to make some compromises. You might not get your way all the time, but so long as everyone in the household is ultimately happy, it's going to make everyone's life so much better. So setting house rules and expectations that everyone has input in is very important. Key point 2 is planning activities together. This is a great way to start to build a culture and build connections with your housing companions. This can be little things like watching a movie together or going shopping together, or it could be big things. Maybe you want to go traveling together. Maybe your ideal housing companion is someone that wants to spend a couple of weeks in Mexico every winter, or do some other traveling. So it's really up to you of what activities you would like to do. This is one of my favorites. I call the 60-40 rule. Whenever you share a home, many people might think, oh, I do this and you do that, a 50-50, but I like to see it as a 60-40, where if you always consider that you'll do 60% of the chores, and then every companion has the same mentality, this makes sure that nothing is left undone in the house. So this means just always doing 10% more in the household, just so that you all overlap the chores a little bit. Helps keep your house cleaner and make sure nothing's left undone, and just really creates a positive energy in your household where everyone's really going a little extra just to help one another out. And it's nice if you see others doing the same, doing that extra 10% to help you out all the time. And communication is always number one. So if there's ever an issue, don't delay. Just bring it up, communicate it. Communication is absolutely important. Now, if you want some more resources about this, this website, learn.happipad.com, or if we go to our main website, you can click on the Learn button, and this gives you a lot more information about some tips and tricks for you. Now, if you are part of the Happipad Companion Housing Program, we have a whole extra series of support available. This is from move-in support, move-out support, help with damage claims. So if your housing companion has caused some damage in your house, we have a team available through our support center to help, investigate this and help make sure there's some compensation done for that. And also, if there's extra insurance needed, we do have access to extra insurance policies. If your home insurance doesn't cover you completely, we can provide extra resources available to help you with this housing arrangement. Now, last thing I want to leave you with before you get to questions is some extra resources that we have available. So first thing to get started, if you are curious to learn more about companion housing, we have some information on our website. So our website is just happipad.com, happipad.com. And you just click the join button at the top here in the red, and then click the companion housing, and that'll take you to our companion housing page. As well, you can click these other buttons like our Help Center, our Learn Center, or How It Works to learn a lot more about Happipad. And I have something very special for everyone today. thanks for the gracious contributions from Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation. There's a $250 credit available for everyone here today that wants to try companion housing. Normally, this program's $250 to get registered in. However, until the end of March, this is available completely free, sponsored by CMHC. So if you're interested in companion housing and want to get started, there's a special incentive available for you. So you can go to our website or even give us a call, and we're happy to get you signed up and get you started. And the last key resource is a completely free resource, is the Happipad Learning Center. You don't have to be a member of Happipad to access this. This is just really a free resource we want to be able to everyone. So go to our website and click Learn, or just learn.happipad.com, and you'll see these 6 resources here. So the bottom here, we have a 3-part complete workshop on companion housing. Now, these are 3 40-minute videos that you can watch that go a lot more in depth than today's presentation about companion housing. So part 1, part 2, and part 3, I recommend you watch them all. You can watch them all in a series, or you can maybe take a few days and watch them. We have the companion housing course. This is a course that I developed over the last couple of years, and it's really comprehensive into lots of tips and tricks into companion housing, a great resource. So you can visit our Learning Center and start that course if you like. Or if you prefer to read, we have the course also available in an ebook format. So you can download the ebook from our website. Again, this is completely free, and you can learn a lot more about companion housing. And we also have occasionally these meet and greet events where you can meet other people looking for housing companions, really a way to socialize. Okay, and that's the end of today's presentation. So I'm now going to open the floor for questions.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Cailan. That you've really developed a lot of resources since the last time I heard you speak about Happipad. It's really great. I hadn't thought it does seem like kind of a complex undertaking, and I can see from your presentation that the more you think about it and plan, likely the more successful the housing arrangement will be for everyone. I'm curious though, the $250 to get registered, so that's $250 for the person who has the house or housing, and also $250 for the person looking for housing. And I'm like S. Murray here, wondering if this is a one-time cost or how that works. How does it work over time, and what does it cost?
Yes, great question, Joan. So this fee, it's free to apply to the program. It's free to register. This is a success fee. So if you're in the program and you're successful finding a housing companion, this is a fee that's charged for the matching process and the support that's given. So right now, CMHC has given some program funding. So until the end of this month, all these placements are done free of charge. That's for free. But in future arrangements, this is a success fee. So if you're successful finding a companion home, it's a one-time fee charged just to get registered in the program and move into your companion home.
Right, and that would be charged to both persons?
Yes.
And the companion. Okay. All right. And so no charge to register then, to really, I guess, indicate your interest, but maybe you haven't obviously totally committed because you haven't found someone yet. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, we want the barriers low. We want everyone to try this, and there's no commitment. You can sign up. You can try to meet some people, and if you think this is something for you, you want to try it. We're there to support you. But again, there's no commitment, and there's no cost to sign up for the program and to really explore it see if this is for you.
Right. And so when you register, is that 60 questionnaire that you fill out to register, or does that come later?
Yes, the registration is 2 parts. So the first form is a discovery form. We just collect some basic information like your name, your phone number, in what city you'd like to live in. And this is the pre-qualification. And then we'll contact you, have a phone call just to review more details about the program. And if you feel ready, then we'll send you the full application form where you can fill out your profile and really start to describe what qualities you want in a housing companion.
Okay, all right. That sounds good. I encourage people to provide any questions or comments they have. There is a question as well, are there any monthly fees? And I guess that would be monthly fees to the host and the companion, the guest. I think is that what you call them, the host and the guest?
Yes.
Yeah. So the guest does contribute towards some costs of the housing, and how is that determined?
Yeah, so service fees for the program, there's a 5% fee of monthly rent charged to the renters. So this is included in the monthly rent. So if rent's $500 per month, there'd be a $25 service fee, and this is to help cover the administration for the program. And then as far as compensation for help around the house, this is usually calculated based on the amount of work done around the house. This is negotiated depending on a case-by-case basis. So we will help with this, but usually we estimate about $20 per hour or so for help around the house is usually the ratio we use to determine a reduction in rent.
I see. Okay. And so the only ongoing fee to the host would be 5% of whatever the guest is paying for rent. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So yeah, I see a question coming. Yeah, just for clarification, the $250 fee, that's just the onboarding fee into the program. You know, our team does a lot of work to get people in the program and get them signed up.
Right.
So that's what this fee covers. Once you're in the program and you're actually renting it, it's 5% of the monthly rent is the ongoing support, and that's the only fees in the program.
Okay. Okay. Right. Well, this is really interesting. So, you know, in Kelowna, for example, how many people are taking advantage of this? Do you have an idea?
Yeah, over the last few years, we've done about 200 placements, 200 matches.
Yeah, and I know this is particularly attractive for some of our students on this campus, but I imagine other campuses also across Canada. At least in Kelowna, we're very short of housing for students, as I'm sure you're full aware, Cailan. And so this does provide a really nice opportunity for students.
Absolutely. You know, we've had a lot of support across Canada for a program. And this fall 2022, we're actually launching a Happipad program in Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia Community College has 17 campuses across the province, and they've identified that they have a housing problem for students. And again, they have a very large network of older adults that could benefit from having a companion around, a younger companion. So we'll be working with them this fall to launch that program.
Great. Sounds like a win-win, because the host gets some money to contribute towards household expenses and taxes and utilities, and the student, I'm assuming, would get a reduced cost of rental in comparison to just renting an apartment or something on their own.
Yes.
Is that how it would work?
Yes. Yeah, feedback we've had from students is that, I'll quote this, it's the best housing upgrade they've ever had. We've seen students at our UBC Okanagan campus. They've lived in student residence on campus. They lived in apartments shared with other friends. And then they lived in a companion home with, and the companion home was the best upgrade they've ever had, because it was the home was quieter, it was cleaner, they could study more, they had people to share meals with, kind of a more mature, more responsible household. We see the students who really want this program are usually the students who are really studying hard. They want a clean, respectful, quiet household. We find makes for an ideal match, because we find the values are often aligned with older adults that want a respectful person in the home. Yeah,
no, I can well appreciate that, especially on our campus when study spaces are a little bit cramped at the moment. So having a quiet place to study and work would be fabulous for many of our students. So how does the kitchen arrangements work and the eating arrangements typically?
Yeah, great question. So we recommend sharing meals whenever possible, and sharing food if you're comfortable doing so. So it helps if you have a housing companion that shares a similar diet or similar food. And if not, sometimes maybe adjusting your shopping habits a bit can help a lot. So staples in the kitchen, we recommend sharing like flour, rice, oil, spices. Those common items are often shared. People each contribute a little bit to help cover those costs. And then if you have your own, specialty food, maybe you buy your own meat or your own cheese, things like that, things that are more expensive, you can have that as on your own. And there's no expectation to share meals all the time together. We find most households have a group meal about once or twice a week, especially if it's a student, maybe they're a bit busier. Sometimes it's hard for them to commit every night, but maybe Fridays and Saturdays, or on some sort of routine schedule, they'll take turns cooking for each other and set that. For the other days, it's really just about doing what works for your lifestyle. See some households where they'll share every dinner together, but for breakfast and lunch they do their own thing. And then some households it's a bit more infrequent. Maybe once a week they have a brunch together, and then they live very independently. Other than that.
Yeah, no, that's great. I see there is a question here, and this is a good question as well from Anne. Is the background check done for both the host as well as the guest?
Yes, it's the same screening process for both sides.
And both sides then would be informed that the background checked out okay.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so both can be quite confident that they're not getting into a difficult arrangement.
Yes. Our team also reviews all the background checks. So we don't allow anyone to sign a rental agreement, a living arrangement agreement, until they've completed this process. And we've done our own review as well. We really are there to support everyone. And so it is a requirement to complete that before anyone is allowed to sign a contract.
Wonderful. And I know we've been talking a little bit about Kelowna, because that's where both you and I are situated. But as I understand what you said, this program is really available almost across Canada. So if people have colleagues, friends, family across Canada, they might be able to take part in this program as well?
Yes, absolutely. So this fall, we expanded our program. We opened our borders across Canada, and we're now operating in every province.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, great. Well, that's great to know, because then I can let my family know in Alberta and elsewhere about this program. I know many people might be reaching the stage where they have empty nests, so this might be a great way to fill those empty nests.
Yes, absolutely.
I see we're nearly out of time. Michelle is saying awesome program, and I couldn't agree more. This is a really great program, and so nice to know that it was developed and grown from beginnings here in Kelowna and at UBC. And we look forward to hearing much more about this program in the future, and letting our students and others know about it. So on behalf of everyone here, I want to thank you very much, Cailan, for providing this update for Embrace Aging this year, and helping us really round out our program around aging in place. So thank you everyone for joining us, and a special thanks to Cailan as well for joining us. I hope you have a chance to come to some of our other Embrace Aging sessions. Check out our program online, and we look forward to seeing you again. Thanks so much, Cailan.
All right, thank you, Joan.
All right, bye.
Bye, everyone.